Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's just dive right in by setting the scene, and I want you to really picture this with me. Imagine a breathtaking biopunk Medina, right in the era of Imam Malik. You've got this massive, glowing neon green dome set against a deep, starry night, bioluminescent lakes perfectly reflecting the cosmos, and these cybernetic palm trees dropping neon golden dates. It is a vibrant, dynamic world, and in this setting, we are going to explore something incredibly profound, the ultimate architecture of the human soul. Specifically, we're unpacking the fiqh of worship, getting into the deep, systemic objectives that are really running behind our Islamic rituals.
To kick off this journey, we have to grapple with a pretty massive philosophical paradox. I mean, look over at Jasa the camel resting by that glowing lake. Jasa kind of invites us to stop and wonder, how exactly does moving backward to a state of pure innocence actually allow us to move forward to ultimate creation? It sounds completely contradictory, right? But in Islamic spiritual architecture, our ultimate destination is actually a return to our original, completely uncorrupted source code, a concept known as fitra. But here's the thing. To move backward to that pristine state so we can rocket ourselves forward, we need a very specific kind of engine.
And that core engine powering our entire cyber oasis is ibadah, or worship. You see, ibadah isn't some mundane chore. It is literally an advanced technology of the soul. According to the foundational texts, it requires two very precise coordinates locking together: absolute submission and profound ultimate love for Allah. True ibadah is the absolute perfect intersection of those two things.
So the really crucial distinction here is contrasting this divine submission with worldly human power. The source material puts it so beautifully, saying, you can be subdued to a dictator out of fear, but you come to Allah submitting with love. If you're only submitting because you're terrified, well, that's not true ibadah. The real sweetness of faith in Islam happens when your total, unwavering obedience is driven by just an overwhelming, transparent love for the Creator. It's an active, willing surrender.
And this illustrates exactly why Islamic worship is so incredibly unique. You know how Eastern philosophies often lean heavily into the spiritual side, right? Often treating the physical body like it's just an illusion or an obstacle you have to negate entirely. Then on the flip side, Western materialism highly values the physical world, but often completely negates the spiritual soul. Islam introduces this brilliant concept of the barzakh, the perfect intermediary state. It's this beautiful golden equilibrium where both your body and your spirit interact, and they actually elevate each other, without negating either pole.
To build this robust system, the fiqh of worship gives us four primary pillars. Think of these as vital, dynamic upgrades specifically designed to elevate human consciousness and preserve our ecosystem. We've got Salah for practical tawheed, Zakat for the sanctity of life, Psalm for mindfulness, and Hajj for the return to fitra. Let's briefly break down each of these upgrades to see exactly how they run our spiritual software.
All right, upgrade number 1, Salah, practical tawheed.
Salah serves as the ultimate boots-on-the-ground expression of the oneness of Allah. Think of it like a daily rhythmic sync of our physical and spiritual coding. Our sources emphasize how Islamic prayer merges intense physical discipline, the standing, the bowing, the prostrating, with the absolute highest levels of spiritual contemplation and divine knowledge straight from the Quran. It's the clearest behavioral embodiment of that barzakh we talked about, that perfect middle ground. It's an ascending cycle you repeat 5 times a day, actively building full human consciousness without ever neglecting your body or your soul.
Moving right along to number 2, Zakat, the sanctity of life.
Zakat is this vital redistribution of energy that essentially powers our entire societal network. And its objective goes way, way beyond just simple charity. It's fundamentally about protecting the sanctity of life itself. The texts highlight al-Dururiyat al-Khams, which are the 5 primary necessities of society. By redistributing wealth, Zakat acts as a strict, non-negotiable economic safeguard. It ensures the preservation of honor, life, and property. It literally guarantees that the weakest links in our society are protected against exploitation and extreme poverty. It's a systematic upgrade designed for real, tangible societal justice.
Next up, upgrade number 3, SAM, cultivating mindfulness.
When we install Som, or fasting, it acts as the ultimate protective firewall of the soul. The whole goal here is cultivating at-taqwa, beautifully translated as mindfulness. But etymologically, it actually means placing a protection, like a firewall, between yourself and harm. It's this state of constant vigilance of the heart that actively blocks out worldly distractions and temptations, keeping your soul laser-focused on worshiping Allah alone. Simply put, if your fasting doesn't increase your taqwa, then the program just isn't running properly. And finally, number 4, Hajj, the return to fitra.
This is where we initiate the ultimate sequence, the cosmic journey, right back to our original source code. The Hajj literally strips away all our worldly layers, right? Our social status, our tailored clothes, our comfortable everyday routines. It forces us to just leave the noise behind and return to a state of pure, uncorrupted innocence. We blend in with millions of others, recognizing our absolute equality before God. But let's pause. What exactly is this innocence we're returning to?
That innocence is fitra. It's our original operating system. Our texts define it as the structural ontological disposition toward harmony with the law of existence, which is a fancy way of saying, before any external corruption happens, before society installs all its conflicting software and noise into our heads, humans are originally wired to be in perfect consonance with the truth. Just like the eye is naturally oriented toward light before it even sees a specific object, our souls are innately oriented toward a law.
Now, this primordial trust actually exists on multiple levels across all of creation. First, you have the cosmic fitra. This is where mountains, trees, and atoms exist in involuntary, automatic harmony with their creator. They just do exactly what they were made to do. Then there's human fitra. We have that same innate disposition, but we are given free will. We have to consciously choose to cultivate it. And finally, the rational fitra, which is where a sound, uncontaminated intellect logically arrives at monotheism. Hajj is so powerful because it perfectly aligns our human will and our rational intellect with the involuntary praise that the rest of the cosmos is already performing.
So let's bring this whole narrative full circle. Ibadah, that perfect, powerful intersection of ultimate love and absolute submission, is the engine. The pillars of Salah, Zakat, Psalm, and Hajj are the essential upgrades that sync up our physical and spiritual reality. And Fitra, that is our final destination. The fiqh of worship acts as this incredibly advanced technology to synthesize our ancient souls with a dynamic future, all balanced perfectly in that Barzakhian equilibrium.
Which leaves us with this final, pretty provocative thought. You are already hardwired for this. The profound connection between your body and your spirit, that is a feature, not a bug. If the technologies of the soul are already pre-installed within your very nature, what is stopping you from running the program? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.